Hi guys, I'm Jess and welcome to the Riverdale Review. Firstly, let me go on record by saying that Chapter 29, Primary Colors, was the best episode of Riverdale that I think I've ever seen. From start to finish, I was completely engaged and kept on the edge of my seat at every twist and turn. So this episode picks up exactly where last week left off. Betty is interrogating Chick about his parentage. Now the DNA results have come back showing that Chick has no Blossom blood. Chick explains that no, I don't have Blossom blood, I don't even know them. To which Betty explains that Cooper blood is Blossom blood. If Hal Cooper was in fact Chick's father, then Chick would have Blossom DNA, which he doesn't. Now this revelation takes Betty immediately to her mom, and Alice explains very rationally, I might admit, that Hal is not Chick's father. This creepy smile emerges on Chick's face as Alice hugs him into this warm embrace. It starts off very slowly at first and then evolves into this scary, creepy, words can't describe smirk. And Betty knows that she's lost this round. But that doesn't mean that she won't keep trying. Throughout this episode, we see her try different tactics to kind of bring Chick down, all of which have failed. It ends up resulting in her pleading with Jughead and asking if she can live with him because she feels unsafe in her own home. I am very curious to see how Alice is going to react to this. She's very clearly sided with Chick. She knows how weird he is. In fact, she's had a conversation with Betty about how broken she is, but how much love she still wants to give him to try and redeem herself for all those years that she was absent. However, she has still sided with him, so Betty has no choice other than to live with Jughead. So Jughead is turning that knife that he stuck into Hiram's back further with each breath of this episode. He has decided to stage a coup. Southside High is a mere days away from being demolished, and it really doesn't sit well with Jughead. He commandeers all of the serpents and they chain themselves in a staged protest outside of Southside High. Added to that, Jughead is also on a hunger strike. Now, for any fan of the comics, we've seen that Jughead is absolutely obsessed with food. He will eat at any given time, even if it's inappropriate to the situation. The show itself has yet to kind of delve into that. We've seen it on a couple of occasions where he'll be stuffing his face and eating at inappropriate times, but it hasn't really been commented on as much as I would have hoped. But this might be the show's first attempt at kind of really showing who Jughead's character is and trying to keep him true to those comic books. We see a real division between Archie and Jughead in this episode, which is really sad and heartbreaking. With Archie doing Hiram's bidding, it was only a matter of time before Jughead stepped so far out of line that Hiram used Archie to reel him back in.
So go on, cut us down. I want them to see you do it.
I don't know where their relationship is headed from here. They seem to have a very adult understanding of where their alliances both lie. However, I think this might be the straw that breaks the camel's back. I think we are about to see an episode where Archie and Jughead are not on talking terms. Speaking of not being on talking terms, a very big division between Veronica and Betty, our favorite duo in this episode. So Hiram and Hermione have asked that Veronica lay low and keep out of the spotlight now that Hermione is running for mayor. In true Lodge fashion, Veronica does the exact opposite, deciding to run for student council president. With Betty as her running mate and Josie as her celebrity endorser, she feels unstoppable. That is until the return of Ethel Muggs. Now, you might recall from earlier seasons that the Muggs family basically lost everything and also resulted in Mr. Muggs, Ethel's father, trying to take his life. Now, this was a result of Hiram Lodge and his embezzlement in the first season. Ethel goes out of her way to go to Pups to get a milkshake, which she then throws in Veronica's face in the middle of the cafeteria. The whole school sees the incident, but Veronica kind of deals with it really well. She kind of shakes it off, and Betty's beside herself. She can't believe that something like this has happened. But Veronica is very cool, calm, and collected. Now, it's that old-fashioned saying of the calm before the storm. In the very next scene, after Veronica has washed the milkshake out of her hair and cleaned her clothes, she comes face to face with Reggie. Now, he has always been a meddler. He's always been a stirrer, and his favorite pastime, of course, is stirring Veronica. He's running for student council president also, and decides to kind of give Veronica a little bit of a poke.
Man, that's him. He would want a boss. Or is he building a female president too? You know, for your mom. Maybe I'll visit them, you know, for your mom.
Now, during one of Veronica's rallies, where Josie is endorsing her and then together they sing a song, Ethel enters the building and starts handing out flyers. Now, these flyers are very Mean Girls / Cruel Intentions-esque. It's a flyer that has a picture of Veronica that has been defaced with all kinds of accusations of things that she knew about that were happening that she didn't admit to or didn't come clean about. In full support of her boyfriend, and because she has been deceived by Veronica, Betty absolutely storms out of the room, and they have a head-to-head later on in the ladies' bathroom where Veronica and Betty are officially done. Now, later on in the episode, there's a very tender scene between Jughead and Betty where they discuss everything that's happened. Jughead's feeling really defeated and betrayed by Archie, and Betty's feeling kind of the same way about Veronica. And so together they decide that no, the two of them are going to run for student body president. Now, in last week's episode, Cheryl overheard a conversation between her uncle and her mother that they were first going to get rid of her grandmother and then her. So what's been happening during this episode is that during the nighttime when Cheryl's been asleep in bed, somebody has been attempting to break into her bedroom. She's obviously on high alert. She's very anxious. She's very fearful for her life. She's also not eating anything that either her uncle or her mother are preparing in fears that it's been poisoned. And it looks like she might have been spot on with her assumption. During this episode, her and Tony's almost kiss is interrupted when Nana Rose falls down the stairs. Now, it's later revealed when she's at the hospital that there was something in her bloodstream. Now, prior to this, we do see a scene where Cheryl's uncle is pouring Nana Rose some tea, and it's safe to assume that this tea was poisoned or laced with this drug that doped her up so much that she fell down the stairs. Either that or she was pushed. Cheryl makes the grave mistake of confronting Penelope and telling her, "I think you pushed Nana Rose down the stairs." This is when Mrs. Blossom goes off on this very weird tangent. She's very emotional and there's tears in her eyes, and she says, "You know, you just lost your mind, but it's okay. We're going to get you the help that you need." It looks like Cheryl has been admitted into the same facility that Polly Cooper was once in. Now, Cheryl has done a really smart thing by telling her inner circle exactly what her fears were. Her relationship with Tony has developed to the point where Tony went and spoke to Mrs. Blossom and asked if she could see Cheryl. Now, when Mrs. Blossom revealed that Cheryl was gone to boarding school, Tony's immediately suspicious. I think it's only a matter of time before Tony finds out where she truly is, but is it going to be too little too late? Thanks again for joining me on another episode of the Riverdale Review. Don't forget to subscribe, leave your comments, feedback, and suggestions in the box below, and I'll see you again next week.